So good evening everyone. Thank you all for coming to my presentation. I'm Gyanu. I'm an international student from Nepal. I'm a junior here at Buria College with math and economics double major. I'm going to present about my research that I did over the summer under the supervision of Dr. Beth Kelly and Christian Bernard on the topic combinatorial game theory. So combinatorial game theory is an important branch of mathematics that provides a systematic way of making decisions. So to become a better entrepreneur, you have to have the ability of making decisions, and those decisions will help you to live an extraordinary life that we want to live. So today in my presentation, I'll try to make a connection between entrepreneurial leadership and the decision-making abilities that I learned from game theory. So here's the quick review of what is coming next in my presentation. I'll talk about internship searches, success and struggles. I'll talk about the research side and the goals of the research. I'll talk about my role that I played during the research, and I'll connect the EPG abilities from the learning outcomes from the research. And I'll end with what's next in my personal journey. So talking about the hurdles that I had during the internship search process, I felt like I was doing everything right. I knew I could run faster and I knew I could work faster, but I couldn't catch many of the internship deadlines, and before I realized it was already too late. And the major learning outcome from that struggle is to start early. So not wanting to repeat the same mistake again, I've started looking for my internship this year, and for those of you who are looking for internship for next year, I strongly recommend that you start early, right now, after we finish this presentation. Yeah. So talking about the success that I had a great internship offer from New York with changing the present, and this is an organization that works to solve social problems through various ideas. And one of the idea that I was accepted into was making textbooks cheaper and easily accessible to college students. The other internship offer that I had was from Sacramento, California, from World Relief, and this is an organization that works with refugees. So this organization helps to settle the refugees from different parts of the world, and I really wanted to work with the refugees because when I went to Louisville for my spring break service trip when I was a Bonner Scholar, I really liked teaching English to Vietnamese refugees, and I thought I had a connection because they could understand Nepali and I was from Nepal, so it was really a great experience, and I wanted to expand that to my internship, and also I wanted to teach them my learnings from the EPG Summer Institute, so that's the reason I applied to World Relief. But then I received a research offer from math department here, and it was on combinatorial game theory. So I had these three great offers, and I was deciding on what to do. And sometimes I would think, "Oh, I really want to go to West. I've never been to West. I want to see that magical, beautiful land of California." And then one part of me was saying, "No, I want to go to New York. I have my friends there. It's a great city. I could live for free for 8 weeks, and I wouldn't need to worry about anything." And then I thought for a long time, and then I thought, oh, I mean, even though I don't want to spend my whole summer in Buria bubble, it's so boring here, everybody wants to get away, like Puspa would probably choose California, Ben would choose probably New York, but then I realized, well, this is something that's close to my major, that aligns with my major, and it could be something that I might discover really interesting and I want to work in the future. So I talked to my advisor, I talked to some other faculties, and I also talked to Dr. Hagbert, and all of them had one advice, and they said, "You got to do what's best for you." So I decided that I would do the research here, and it was on combinatorial game theory. So combinatorial game theory is a mathematical approach of deciding on what you want to do, how you want to solve the problem. So games often reflect or share the characteristics similar to real life situations. For example, if you play a game with somebody and if you know the strategies that the player is using, then you can probably predict the the way that person is going to behave in a real life situation. So I really wanted to learn how people make decisions, how people make the best decision they want for their benefits, and I also wanted to learn about how other people think. So it was learning both ways, how you think and how other people think. So I wanted to learn those skills, and I also wanted to apply my skills that I learned from the EPG Institute in a different perspective. So that would be research, since research and EPG Summer Institute and DFE are totally different thing. So I'm going to talk about what we did, what my role was, and what the research site was. So research site was here at Berea College, and it was known as Undergraduate Research and Creative Project Program. So that was URCPP, and the major goals of the research project were to foster the interaction between faculty and student in creative projects, to enhance student learning by providing opportunities for the engagement of challenging projects, and certainly to improve students' communication skills, and to allow students to build self-confidence to pursue careers and further study beyond Berea. So I really wanted to find the difference between how working outside the field would be and how working in an environment like a research group would be. And I really wanted to do that, and also I wanted to, if I wanted to apply for grad schools in the future, this would be really helpful for me. And also I would have one more summer next year to apply for a career-related internship, so I decided that my second summer would be best if I did the research. So the research that we worked on was Aggression. The game is called Aggression. So it's a two-person war game where both the players have equal number of armies, and this game can be played in different shapes and sizes. So you can have a board state of any shapes that you can think of. So on the screen there are some examples of the maps that we used during the research, but we focused on a specific shape called atoll. So it's a ring-shaped figure that has certain number of territories or regions around it, and each region is touched by two more regions. So here are some examples of atolls with different sizes. So you can see that one region in each atoll is touched by two other regions. So in the game of Aggression, so two players have equal number of armies to start with. So the game is divided into two phases. The first phase is you place the armies in any region that you want until both the players run out of armies, and then in the second phase, player starts attacking each other's armies. So there are certain rules for attacking, and just to put it in a simpler word, if there are a higher number of armies in a certain region, that number of armies can attack lower number of armies in the surrounding region, only in the surrounding region. And at the same time, if there's a higher number, some of the armies in the surrounding region is higher, then those can attack a number of armies in the region that they surround. So I'll just give a quick example of Atoll 5. We worked on Atoll 1 through 12. I'll just give a quick example of Atoll 5. So we found out that in an Atoll of 5, if you want to play this game and if you want to win, then you must become player 1, and you must start with one army. So I'll quickly show the winning strategy for player 1 if the player 1 starts with one army. So if player 1 starts with one army in any of the regions, so in the screen that you can see, now player 1 has played one army, and now it's player 2's turn, and player 2 has 5 choices. Player 2 can play all the 5 armies, or player 2 can play any armies less than 5. So there will be two different strategies for these choices. So I'll give a quick example of 5 armies. What's the strategy for player 1 if player 2 plays 5 armies? So player 2 plays 5 armies, and you can see 5 is next to the one army of player 1. So that's because playing next to one army is the best decision for player 2. If player 2 plays 5 armies other than that position, then player 2 will lose. So in this case, I mentioned you about the rules about attacking. So the 5 armies, which is player 2 and is colored in red, can attack the one army of player 1, which is in blue color, and any armies if placed in in the red spot. So you can see that player 2 started with 5 armies and is out of armies, and player 1 has 4 armies left, and there are 2 spots that cannot be attacked by player 2. So the 2 spots are the ones circled in blue color. So player 1 can place his armies at 2-2, and then that's the placement phase. That's the end of the phase 1, and in phase 2 the attacking takes place, and it's player 2's turn because player 2 ran out of armies by placing all the armies at once, and then player 2 can attack the 1 army, and now it's player 1's turn, and there's no more attacking going on. So player 1 cannot attack, and neither do player 2 can. So that's the end state of the game if player 1 decides to play 2 and 2. So we can see that player 1 has 2 reasons and player 2 has only 1 reason. So that's one of the winning rule for this game. A player must have higher number of reasons to win the game. And player 1 also can play in 1 armies, and it will be the same state after the attack phase, 2 reasons to 1 reasons. So we worked atolls of 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we found the results that player 1 has a winning strategy in an atoll of 5 and 8, and player 2 has a winning strategy in an atoll of 6 and 7. And we were working on atoll of 9, 10, but it was really difficult because there were so many choices, and it was really hard to decide what we wanted to do. So we stopped after atoll 8, and we have all the findings for these atolls. So now I want to connect the EPG abilities and the learning outcomes from my research. And the first one that I had to encounter a lot was dealing with ambiguity and uncertainty. So since research is all about finding new things, there were times when we found results that were totally unexpected and the results that we did not want. And we had to pivot a lot, and we had to take different routes, and we had to take different approaches to solve the problem. And learning the skill of dealing with ambiguity and uncertainty really helped me during the research, and I was able to cheer up my teammates and myself and work ahead to achieve our goal. And the second APG ability that I want to discuss today is facilitating group decisions. So as I told you, we would reach to a point where the results we didn't want, results were totally unexpected, and we would be so frustrated. But the skill of facilitating group decision that I learned from EPG Summer Institute helped me a lot, and I was able to make a good decision along with the help of my teammates, and we were on a strategic plan to carry out research. The third EPG ability that I want to discuss today is teamwork and creativity. So throughout the 8 weeks, we were working in a team of 4. So every week we had to write what we found out, and we used to read each other's paper and comment on each other's and give feedbacks to each other. And similarly, to find the strategy, the only way was to play the game. So we used to play the game every day. We used to be critical of each other, and we used to note what the other person was doing and what I needed to do to come up with a certain strategy. So it was all about being competitive and making decisions. And that really helped me to be creative and critical thinker, and I really think I was able to develop my skill during the research. So now I want to continue with the learning outcomes from the research, and one of the first learning outcomes is never give up. So even though there were times where we wanted to stop, we never gave up. We were persistent, and I had learned the skill of perseverance and being persistent from my EPG Summer Institute, for example, in rock climbing. So that was similar to it, and then I applied those skills, and we did not stop. So if you want to succeed, just work hard, never stop. The other skill that I learned was being on time. Even though I was living off campus, it was 40 minutes walk and 30 minutes bike. I always used to show up on time so that I did not miss anything. So for those of you who have habit of being late, please improve on that. Show up on time. The third skill that I learned from the research was being an effective team member. So it's totally different being a team member and being an effective team member. So don't be afraid to contribute to the team. Don't be afraid to ask any questions, and always engage yourself in the deep conversation. So one of the things that I would do again would be engaging myself into the deep conversation that we had during the research. So I would want to end with what's next for me in my future career. So I feel like I learned the skills of creative thinking and critical thinking and effective communication from the research, and I want to apply those to my future career that I want to be. So I want to become an actuary, and I have started preparing for my exam, and I'm taking my second exam in two months. And actuaries, they work on making huge decisions for big companies, and they have to be really good at like communication. They have to really good at being creative, and they have to deal with people from different diversity, different background. So I really think the research helped me to think in that perspective, and has helped me to gain those skill set. And I think those skills will be really helpful in my future career and my internship that I will be looking related to actuarial next summer. And I feel this research was truly an entrepreneurial research internship. Thank you very much.